and really instill a message you want to drive that really led to the results last weekend?
Well, I mean, you kind of at a turning point where you got to make a decision. Are you going to start consistently playing together, playing as a team, sharing the ball, appreciating your teammates, being happy for your teammates when something good happens. There's a lot of things that go into becoming a team, and we showed flashes of it at different times of different games when we were desperate in the non-conference, but top to bottom, it wasn't what we were hoping for. It hasn't come together in that regard. It didn't. So we talked a lot. I mean, it wasn't a ton of basketball-related adjustments that were made. It was more, just trying to get everybody to get on the same page about competing and playing for each other and playing the right way. And I thought we did that for Stanford, and for the most part, even though we got down in those games, I mean, Stanford is playing well right now. Based on certainly their game with Arizona. So I thought we played pretty well. We shot 47% in that game and played well defensively, very active late in the game, just with the steals and just finishing our opponent and just closing that game out was pretty special. And then we didn't play well at all at Cal, but I think we stayed together, we stayed in the fight, and we found a way to win.
In your experience, is playing together, accountability, all of those things you just mentioned, is that player driven? I mean, everything's your responsibility, but is that really more about the players, or is that something you can do to get them to do?
Yeah, I mean, we're trying. Everybody has their own goals and things they want to do individually in the sport, and so when those thoughts collide with what's best for the team, that's where there's work to be done always. But I think we have recruited guys that are really good guys off the court and have good character and have a drive and a will to win, and that's evidenced in multiple times where we've been at a really bad deficit and been able to scramble and figure out a way to win. So I think it's just a matter of getting these guys to sacrifice a little more of their own thoughts and kind of just gravitate more to a team concept.
What have you thought about the four-guard lineups, how that's fared, and obviously there's trade-offs that you're making as part of that?
Yeah. I mean, some of it is out of necessity, just, due to, Sean's minute restriction right now and, Zane's injury, and we've had to figure out a way to play a little bit different. But, I think when we went to that lineup versus Cal, it opened some doors for us on the offensive end. The spacing was a little bit better. The floor opened up for Frankie more. And with that lineup for that stretch, the ball, was going in the basket. And, I've had some smaller lineups in the past that have been very successful at times, but they've been with very small guards. Whereas, this lineup, even though it is five guards, I mean, there's, Frankie is a physical, athletic, 6'2" point guard, and Adam is physical, and Jose. So I think for not long term, but in small doses, we could get away with it more and still not totally lose our identity on defense because we just, we can't rebound or we can't challenge shots the way we're capable of.
Do you feel like you're going to have to hit more of the better shots because of the offensive rebounding is not there?
Yeah, I mean, we have to get better on offense. There's no doubt about it. It feels great to be 2-0 in the conference, but the reality is the games are going to get more difficult, starting this week, and we can't afford to play like we did in the first half versus Cal and expect to have a legitimate chance of winning this week. So I'm hoping that, there's some carryover from how we finished the game, and guys were hitting shots. Kamari Lance had a good weekend. Zoe again late in the game was very good offensively and defensively. Frankie obviously, and Adam, and you got to get Jemiah going, and he's kind of a big piece, and I think he's like embodies what I think we could be if things come together, because I think our upside from where we are right now is pretty high, and a big part of that is Jemiah. So he had some good moments defensively, helped us win that game at Stanford, and just got to try and find a way to get him going at the offensive end a little more.
Speaking of the offense, how do you feel that, been a few games, but Frankie's done a good job of working Adam into the offense, making him feel comfortable.
Yeah, Adam is going to, I think, continue to improve. He's still, even though he practiced with the team, he still only has a couple of games under his belt, and he missed a lot of time. So, I think guys enjoy playing with Adam, and he's a guy that I really trust. I think he's a guy that will help us, more as we keep going, try and close the gap between where our defense is right now and what our offense needs to be.
You mentioned Kamar Lance this weekend. Where do you foresee him contributing more in that six-man role, or where do you foresee him as he progresses?
I just liked his approach, how he came back from the break, because, we were all bad, the coaches, the players, everybody in the Northwestern game. But I just sensed a real frustration with him. I think I wouldn't say, he bottomed out in that game, but I just saw a different guy when he came back after Christmas. And maybe you get to go home, you talk to your family, your friend, and then you find something. But he was really good in practice again, leading into those games, and just played more confidently. He shot the ball with confidence and had a really key steal. He got in a gap versus Cal and got a rake steal. So, he's doing things that we need him to do. So I'm happy that he's playing better. You could tell his whole disposition has changed.
With those injuries and the minute restrictions in the front court, how do you limit an elite big like Brandon Carlson?
Yeah, he's a tough guard because he's very versatile, and they move him around the floor quite a bit. He's obviously a big time shooter for a 7-footer, and got great length. So he can hurt you in a lot of different areas. I think he's a really underrated passer too. Just we got to be careful about how we send doubles to him if we do, and making good decisions with regards to that. I thought that's what we did very well versus Cal. Late in the game, Frankie, guys were very active, getting into post defense and getting a deflection. Those are big time plays. We have to use our speed to combat, their size.
Frankie's probably playing his best ball, which I think you kind of foreshadowed that was going to happen. But how do you now extract the maximum that you can from him when he's got that capability?
Yeah, I just he's playing at a different level. He took it to a different level at Cal. Just the shot making, the attacking the basket, his instincts on defense were all, elite really in that game. So, he's a playmaker. We needed him to be that guy, and it's the next progression for him. I think we were all prepared to see him, and that doesn't mean he's got to get 25, but he's going to get his teammates involved, and I think he's a guy that can be that difference maker for us at both ends of the floor.
Your next win here will be your 150th at ASU. I think it'll be the third coaching program in history that reached that.
Didn't know that.
What would that mean for you?
Yeah, I'm just. I think I would probably think about all the teams and all the good moments and the NCAA tournament teams and all the guys I coached, and just be grateful and thankful that I had the opportunity to coach those guys. And and so I didn't realize that, but that's pretty cool. Yeah.
You said there that you think that there's quite a bit of room for you to get better still.
Yeah.
What are some of the main areas of that?
I would say just getting Sean back and integrating him into what we're doing, and just keep expanding his role. And you saw the blocks and the lob dunk, at Stanford, and could bring kind of a different dimension to what we do. And then it's a constant process, and it's not easy for a lot of teams now with so much change, and so to get these guys on the same page, playing well together. Got to get more guys playing well on offense. I still think there's a lot more that guys could do at that end of the floor to improve, because we're not there yet, offensively. And I think our defense has been really good, though. Was really good the last two games.
You mentioned Meeks earlier. Is there any update on where he's at?
No, I'm going to say probably indefinitely now, because there hasn't been any signs that we're going to see him back. And I haven't had a conversation with our trainer, our medical staff, that would lead me to believe that, he's going to get back soon. So if something changes, then I'll certainly make sure I let everybody know on that one.
Bryson Long, what's the prognosis on him?
Yeah, Bryson's got like a medical issue right now that I don't want to go into great detail with, just because, if he wants to discuss it, I think that I'm going to leave that opportunity for him to talk about it. But he won't play this weekend, but there's a chance that if things progress the right way through this weekend, that he might be able to play at Washington. But we're going to make sure we check all the boxes, and just feel it was great just to see him before we hit the road to go play Stanford and Cal. So we're looking forward to get Bryson back.
You talked about Frankie's progression. What do you think he's gotten the best at, or what has changed or progressed the most since he's transferred in, or even since the end of last season?
I just saw his maturity, his confidence growing, his trust in the work he's put in to get better. I mean, he needed to improve his shot. I think he attacked that this offseason. His shot has been better. It's been more consistent. He trusts it. And when a guy like him is making shots, he's a handful because of just how good he is off the bounce and attacking the paint. So, and then his leadership is there, man. He's got what I look for in terms of wanting to win and having a will to win. Like he was, he wouldn't let us lose in that game. Like he was stealing the ball. He was making clutch shots. He was communicating with his teammates. You could almost feel his passion for playing and passion for trying to win that game. So at that position, it's like the quarterback or whatever. I mean, that guy's got to be a tough guy, and he's got to want to win. If you have a selfish point guard that doesn't care about winning, you got no shot.
And as a coach who has won, how gratifying is it to see that in one of your players?
I just, I love the kid, and I think the world of the kid, and I'm happy for him that he's having success, and he's just getting better and better. So it is rewarding at that position. Is one that I've take pride in, and knowing that I played it. So I hope I can figure that one out.
Stats don't matter. Stats don't matter when you win. But when you read the assist to turnover ratio recently, what do you think?
Well, I think we all felt helpless in that first half. Like, that's the word I would describe it. It was one of those games where, I watched it again. We got some pretty good looks, like on ball movement, and the ball just didn't go in. I think if you stick to that script and you don't get off that script, then, hopefully, like, it's a two-way street, right? I mean, if someone makes the best pass in the world, if the guy doesn't shoot it and make it, then you can't get an assist. So I think some of it came down to that. But also with Cal, we wanted to get them in a lot of ball screen, and Frankie was able to really start attacking the paint, especially in that second half. So it didn't really require an assist in that moment.
Coach, when you talk about the offense too, I know you talked about this at the beginning of the year, but the free throw shooting this last weekend, it did get better, but is that do you feel, having been in the position, it kind of goes hand in hand? You get to the basket, you get fouled, you see more free throws dropping and more shots start to drop. So there's a correlation there?
I think, and I think we took a step in the right direction there over these two games to shoot better percentages, and that was certainly something that we've been discussing with the guys, and we've been, Coach Kimbrough came up with a new free throw shooting drill that we've been working on at the end of practice. So there's things you could try and do to work on that stuff. But I think that we're better shooters, than we've shown this year. Our numbers are what they are, but I think we have a chance and upside to improve in those areas.
Coach, although Maya's shots may have not fallen like this past weekend, he had that key block at the end of the game against Stanford. How do you feel he's mentally matured to make plays outside of just scoring?
Yeah, his defense was clutch, and you can't hang your hat on only making a shot. And so I know that he's got the athleticism and the instincts, to make those type of plays. Huge deflection, like 2 possessions earlier before the block too. So he made 2 huge defensive plays to get stops and help close that game out. So, yeah, I'm happy that he's, not putting his head down and saying, I'm struggling to shoot it, so I'm not going to give effort at the other end. He's really, playing well at that end of the floor. And I think it's going to come for him. I don't know when, but I do know that he has it inside of him to make shots and have more of an impact at the offensive end, and that'll help our team take it to a different level.
Jose's kind of struggling a little bit with his shot too, but again, kind of like Jemiah, he had to play where he dove for the loose
Yeah.
ball and
Yeah.
kind of trying to. Has his role changed a little bit with Miller coming in, and it seems like maybe his role has changed a little bit, or he's not quite fitting in there? Or?
No, I think he'll be fine. My advice to him is to, I think a couple of times he put his head down and try to really drive into an area that, wasn't really space. Trust your 15, 17 footer. He doesn't love to shoot the three. That's not part of it. But I mean, he could take one or two a game. But trust the mid range. I mean, I've seen him, make a lot of mid range shots in the film as we watched prior to him coming here. So I know that that's something that he hasn't really shown that I think he can do. He was kind of fighting through a finger injury that he got very early. So I think that is he's got that behind him now. So maybe he'll add that to his game. But when he dove for the ball, that's what it was all about for me. Like, one player tries to bend over and pick it up, the other guy just dives for it. And if you guys didn't ask me about him, I was going to say this before I left, those are the types of plays, that's who our identity needs to be if we're going to be good moving forward. Like Jose Perez laying out on the floor to get a loose ball and the other player bending over trying to pick it up.
The multi-time transfer ruling obviously was beneficial for Adam, but looking at it big picture, how does that affect the way you construct a roster?
I mean, I don't know. I would imagine the floodgates are open. I don't know how you go back from this. I haven't heard anything specific yet, but it's going to be every year. It's going to be year to year. It's going to be even more. I mean, we had 3 guys come back. Like Utah, good for them, man. They kept a core nucleus of good players that they're bringing on. They brought Carlson back. They brought Madsen back. The point guard back. They brought all these guys back that now they're having a great season. So being able to retain guys is going to be critical, moving forward if you can. And it's just it's going to be very resource driven if that's going to be the case.
Do you feel like in that respect that the job of the head coach becomes fundraiser as much as anything else?
I'm sure, as Kenny discussed right after the season ended, that was his number one priority. And it's no different for me. I mean, we have to find creative ways to encourage those to invest on the front end with the thought that the results will be there on the back end. So we're still behind, but we still have people trying. And I think there's, I know in my sport, you could turn this around. There's only 13 guys, and I'm going to play like 7 or 8. So, if you do have enough resources, you could put together a team, pretty quickly that can be very competitive.
Seems like going into the Big 12, especially, that's just monumentally important.
Yes, it's the most, for this program. It is the most important thing. Forget about DFA, and I would love for it to be better for our fans and stuff down the road. That's a dream, to have a facility that a new, beautiful facility, but. Number one on the list is fundraising and convincing people to donate to NIL.
You said turn it around quickly. You said obviously Utah keeping that core together. I mean, is it almost, even in the recruiting process, tougher because you're out recruiting, but do you feel that there's a big re-recruiting of your players, whether in season or right after the season as well? Yeah, I mean,
it comes down to their experience. Hopefully their player experience is great. Hopefully, you have someone like Frankie that, keeps getting better, and he sees that and he's taking steps. But it's going to come down to the resources most, and the relationships matter and the player experience matters. But that's certainly going to be number one in most cases.